Welcome. Oh, better make sure my microphone's good. So welcome everybody to today's video. So today I'm talking about 5 steps to get to sleep better. When it comes to sleep, so many of us, such a simple thing, but we're really shit at it. Like, I don't know how many times in the past I used to go, oh my gosh, I can't sleep, I can't sleep, I can't sleep. And it doesn't matter whether you're worried about your kids, your job, your future, your money, whatever it is. Most people will have sleep issues at some stage in their life, and most likely within a week or so. However, there are tips that we can do to make better sleep more consistently. The only time I don't sleep really bad is when I'm excited about a project or excited about an event, and that's completely fine. So, let me give you 5 tips, especially as therapists, of what we need to do in order to sleep better so that we can function better and avoid that burnout. So, tip number 1, okay? The tip number 1, thoughts. Now, this is not something where you're like, oh, I've got to listen to meditation or hypnosis or anything like that. And let me know down in the comments if you have sleep issues and if any of these tips help you. So tip number 1 is all about thoughts. Like I said, it's not about meditation or listen to audios and all that sort of stuff, because we can sort of go, oh, I've got another job to do now, so what else can I do? When it comes to your thoughts, we tend to think about the things that we don't have any control of, or perhaps we're worrying about, or we're trying to create things. I'm a gamer, so if I play too much of a game, or John is a creator inside of a game, so he builds things, he tends to manifest those things in his sleep, so he doesn't really get a good sleep. So when it comes to your thoughts, it's about starting to think about all of the things that you enjoy about sleep. So what are the things that you enjoy about sleep? Do you enjoy the feel of your blanket? Do you enjoy your pillow? What are all the things that you enjoy about sleep? What you're doing here is you're starting to reprogram your mind that you enjoy sleep. It's a good task. It's an enjoyable task. And it's one of those things that, you quite enjoy the process of getting to sleep, of being asleep, and then waking up appropriately. So make sure that your thoughts are in the right place. And I'm not talking about positive thoughts like I am this or I am that or I am something else. I'm talking about all the things that you enjoy about sleep. So therefore, as you go through this, you start to change your habits as such. As you go through this, you start to go, you know what? I really enjoy the notion of going to bed. One of my girlfriends, one of her manifestations was taking off her bra, and that was like part of her ritual of going to sleep. Like, I can take off my bra, I can release the girls, and I can just relax. And that's what she would do. Okay, so think about your thoughts. What do you enjoy about sleep? And every time those intrusive thoughts pop in, whether it's worry or I've got to do this or I've got to do that, just start to think instead of all the things you enjoy about sleep. How you love being warm inside your bed. Pause. How it's so comfortable. Pause. And continue on doing that, even if you repeat all those thoughts. Point number 2. Now, this one's pretty obvious, but it's amazing how obvious things are and people still don't get it. Okay? Lighting. Now, when I'm talking about lighting, I'm not talking about you changing all the light bulbs to LEDs and all this sort of stuff. I'm talking about you activating your mind with light that's coming into your eyes that is stimulating your brain. So there are optic nerves inside of your eyes that stimulate your brain when it comes to information. And imagine it like they take time to cool down as such. So what kind of lighting are you putting into your eyes when you are trying to get to sleep? And most of the lighting comes from our phones or our tablets. Okay, they have bright lights on them, and yes, they do have a night theme, but you have to reduce the amount of bright light that's going into your eyes. We actually have a red light in our bedroom, because John likes to be able to see when he does have those times when he wakes up, and he can still see the room, but the red light doesn't actually penetrate your eyelids, so he can see everything that's going on in the room because he's more of a night stalker as such, and he can chill out and, do what he needs to do, but, he's not actually stimulating me by those lights that come in. So have a look at the amount of lights that you're using just before you go to sleep, and ensure that you're not stimulating your brain, telling it, hey, light up, light up, light up, we've got some stuff to do. Because it takes a little while to cool down. Even when you say look at the sun, you're like, oh my gosh, I've got dots in my eyes. That's those nerves are like they've lit up and then they've got to cool down as such. They don't actually cool down, but they've got to depreciate the amount of light that's in the optic nerves. Okay. Number 3. Now this one's pretty obvious. Electronics. Really reduce as much electronics as possible. What happens is we get into what I call habitual knowledge. So habitual knowledge is where I used to have you know how you get those like alarm clocks and with the timer on them, like, you know, the time on it. And found myself getting into a habit of checking the time so that I could go, oh, I've got 2 hours before I've got to get up, or I've got, you know, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, that's the usual time to go to the toilet or something like that. And this is called habitual knowledge. This habitual knowledge has, has zero, absolutely zero benefit to it whatsoever. It really is. It's kind of like junk knowledge. It's just junk. It's like hoarding junk. So it's the same as when we use the Fitbits to tell us how much sleep we've had and when we woke up, etc. Well, how are you going to solve this? Because if you can't solve it, then it's just junk knowledge. It has zero benefits. All it's going to do is give you this knowledge that you're probably not going to use, or you get a bit curious about, and it's just junk. So when it comes to electronics, for example, with the clock, I actually had to remove the clock from the room and then tell myself, you can trust your alarm, trust that you will wake up, everything will be okay. Because it didn't matter. What mattered was me learning to trust that my alarm would wake me up and I would wake up easily. And that comes down to the enjoyable thoughts. I trust my alarm. My alarm will wake me up easily. Because, you know, you get into these knowledge things like, oh, what is this? What is this? And it doesn't matter. So get over it and get rid of some of those electronics. Now, this one's become a part of our lives. Okay. So social and media, I'll write it as that. Okay, many of us tend to go to bed and we'll look on social media, or we'll watch TV or something like that to wind down. And what that does is that actually stimulates us. And it programs our mind, because we constantly get that serotonin hit, what someone's doing, what's new and exciting. That's when you'll usually find advertising as well, because they know that's when you're online. That's when they know that you're most likely to purchase, because you're in that relaxed state and you think, oh yeah, I'll purchase that now, I'll look at it in the morning. They don't care about when you look at it. All they care about is the dollar sign. So when it comes to the social media, watching TV and movies and Netflix or whatever, have that time frame that you shut it off. So what is your bedtime as such, and what is your sleep time? So for example, I always go to bed at 10:30, and then by 11:30 I want to be closing my eyes and working on my sleep pattern. So when it comes to all of that stuff, have that timer, have that limit, and ensure that when you plug it into the charger, etc., put it as far away as you can from your head as such, because we don't want you getting stimulated during the night or interrupted from your sleep patterns. And tip number 5, and I find this one to be like super duper important, when it comes to longevity as such. Tip number 5 is self-talk, or / the ritual. So when it comes to self-talk and the ritual, you can do your social media as you're going to bed, or John and I tend to play games in bed against each other. We have these little games on our tablet. And when we go into the stage where I'm like, right, we are going to sleep now, there is a difference between bedtime and sleep time. So bedtime is when you go to bed. And nobody is saying that you can't get out of bed again. It's just that you've gone to bed. Then you've got sleep time, and that's when you work on going to sleep. And many people have this ritual that I will start to go to sleep when I get tired. Well, you can actually change yourself, and you can start to program yourself that this is when you are going to sleep, and you're going to habitually start to go to sleep, like to work on that task. And none of these systems are foolproof. It's as simple as that. They're going to have like glitches in them depending on your life and your thoughts, etc., etc. But self-talk when it comes to the ritual, for me personally, is I have bedtime is 10:30, and at 11:30 I'm like, okay, my ritual is I'll get out of bed, go to the loo, brush my teeth, do all that nightly stuff, and once that's done, that is time for sleep. Simple as that. So I'm training my mind that the anchoring point of brushing my teeth is now to go to sleep. And now there's going to be lots of people that turn around and go, oh, but I don't like getting out of bed, once I've gotten in, etc., etc. So make it work. Rather than grizzling about what you do or don't do, just work out a system that works for you and get some better sleep. There is no ABC equals XYZ system when it comes to these things. You've got to work out a system that works for you, and if you're not sleeping properly, then you need to work it out so you can recharge. This is going to avoid burnout. It's going to help you be more patient and kind. You'll reduce frustration and anger. You'll have better effects when it comes to healing. And I must admit, I've said to John so many times, you know what? I love sleep so much that I'm going to say it's one of my favorite hobbies. So check out those 5 sleep tips. Apply them to your life, and don't think, I'm going to do this just for tonight and see what happens. Do it consistently for an entire month, and then notice how much better you're going to start feeling. So otherwise, from that, lovely angels, I will catch you in the future. Bye-bye.